All right. Hats off to Seattle. We certainly appreciate them coming here to compete against us. It's obviously a long way and a lot of travel for them, but they played well. They played well. They got down early. It was going well for us early. I think it was, I'm not sure exactly what the score was, but I think they had 10 points with 7 minutes to go, so the defense was pretty solid at that point. Happy birthday to you, Jim. But they just grinded it to a halt and figured out a way to inch their way back into the game, and then all of a sudden, lo and behold, they're up 1 at half. And we told the guys, when life looks like easy street, there's danger at your door. And so early in the game, it was, I'm not saying it was easy, but we were scoring and we were getting stops. And so that's what you want in basketball. You want to be able to separate. And we were able to do that early, but sometimes early leads can be fool's gold too. And we led them, we didn't let them. They played their way back into the game, and we didn't respond in an appropriate way. We fouled. Is really what we did. They dominated the free throw line in the first half. They were running their sets and taking the proper time that they needed to get the shot that they wanted. And sometimes it ended up in a foul. And for us, our offense struggled a little bit. We had some open looks that didn't go in, and then that makes you a little bit more tentative. And so we kind of limped into halftime, but. We talked a lot about we've got to flip the free throw deal, in the second half. Like, usually when you see a discrepancy like that, it's not the official's fault. It's the play, like the teams are impacting that. And one team is more aggressive than the other team. They were the more aggressive team down the stretch of that half, and were able to kind of put their arms around the game. And so I thought our guys did a nice job in the second half of flipping that, over the course of time. It didn't happen right away. They obviously were winning the majority of the second half, and we were able to find a way, through some big shots and some timely stops, to be able to come out with a needed win, there against a good team. We talked about it the other night, last game. Like, all these teams that we have coming in here are good. Like, the WAC is an excellent conference, and Seattle's won 20 games multiple years in a row. They have a great coach, and so we have a ton of respect for them. And you can see out there, they're big. Like, they're bigger than some of the teams that we've played so far.
16-5 run, I think, over the last about 3.5 minutes. What did you see that you liked down that stretch?
You're talking about for us?
Yeah, for you
Yeah,
guys.
defensively we were more aggressive. Obviously we picked up full court. It's hard for us to do that, for an entire game. Because we just don't have enough bodies right now in order to do that. But I thought the pressure was good. Toby, gave us some much needed energy there. A couple of traps, Zeb with some deflections. Trying to keep these guys fresh, is not easy. Fats, I thought, had an excellent game. He got some deflections and some key tips and things. And so, I think, that's how you win games. You get stops, and you find a way to score. And, Max made some key plays. We were aggressive on the glass, at the end of the game, and some of our misses. And those led to, like, Jay Nell's shot was huge, right? And Toby having the poise to find him, was a big play.
Coach, when they were packing the paint like that, kind of daring you to hit threes, how were you all attacking that?
Yeah, we were trying to get them into a scramble the best we could, but a lot of times the ball's going to find the guy that's wide open, right? And that's how we play. The open guy a lot of times is the go-to guy. And right now those shots aren't going down for us. And so we've got to continue to work with those guys, in practice time and out of practice time, when they're on their own, just getting shots up and becoming more confident. And, it happens that way sometimes. Guys that, we know can shoot the basketball, start off slow in seasons, and then all of a sudden it just begins to pick up. We played a kid last year against Santa Clara. We were playing Santa Clara. One of their seniors shot like 40-some% the year before, and we played him like game 4, and he was 0 for 19. And he shot 40-some%, like 45 or something like that, like crazy. He shot like the Tyson kid. And he was just 0 for 19. And it was like we were playing him. I was like, oh boy, that's not good. He's 0 for 19 coming in to play us. And it happens, sometimes, and you have to work your way through it and work your way out. I was a shooter. I wasn't a great shooter every game. I had slumps at times, and I had to work myself through it. And that's where your coaching comes in, and coaches, right, your teammates, giving you that confidence to keep shooting. But we don't want to get shot happy either. Like, we have to play to our strengths.
Related, you had mentioned in previous pressers how much Toby works on his outside shot.
Yeah.
How good is it to just see a guy rewarded for that and clutch moments for him to hit 2 big threes?
Yeah, we named him the player of the game after the game for the two, not only the 2 shots, but it was the main reason why, because the night after or the day after the Radford game, I leave here the next morning, 7:30 in the morning, and I walk into the BDC. Who's there but Toby? He's there shooting and working on the things that he knows he needs to improve upon to be successful for this team, and we need everyone to do that. And he's a shining example of you put the work in, right, and you stay with it. Right, when the lights come on, you will be rewarded if you stay true to it. And he certainly has the work ethic of a champion, and I'm excited to see him having that success out there. Does that mean he's going to start making 4 a game? No, it doesn't. Right? He's got to take the right ones. Like, he was wide open, right, on those, and that's where the way that he practices. Like, he's open, and then eventually, as he matures in his game, then all of a sudden maybe it's a little bit quicker shot, getting into it. And so, just a natural progression of the player development.
You guys led most of the first half. Seattle gets back into it. You go into halftime down 1. What were the big adjustments you made to start the second half?
Yeah, I think stop turning it over. We had 9 turnovers in the first half, right? We kind of gave it back to them. We were getting caught at the baseline too many times. And then be the aggressor, going to the rim and try to space the court a little bit better and move them around a little bit more. It didn't happen right away. And then defensively, try to pick up our pressure at certain times, after a made basket, after a free throw, whatever it is, to try to put a little bit more pressure and make some of their other handlers handle it so they couldn't just come down and operate their offense. And continue to rebound. Like, rebounding against them is huge.
Coach, you sort of mentioned this, but 10 team fouls in the first half and 3 in the second half. What changed?
Yeah, I think we were just in better position, and we weren't hacking, right? And I think they were putting pressure on us by throwing it inside. It's the first team that we've played so far that had really thrown it in there on us, like post-its I'm talking about. And so it was good for us to experience that, and we certainly have the ability to double a post guy if need be. Losing Rose, hurt, because you have another bigger body there. But I thought Kwani and Toby fought really hard. Firm obviously had to play more minutes and did a nice job. And it makes it tough because they'll have their shooters screen for those big guys. And when you're so worried about the shooters, and then all of a sudden they screen for a big, now all of a sudden the big can get open pretty quickly. And that happened one time under the basket. But for the most part, our guys did a solid job. But we're gonna have to be way better, at not letting it go in there. That's the first way that you guard post-ups, is not letting it go in there and forcing them to catch it further out, so they have further to go to get to the basket. And then you have to be able to figure out who you can help off of. And we didn't do a great job of flexing in there and like getting that big guy to pick it up. We didn't swarm as much as we were going to be able to do, over the course of the season.
Coach, Michael Bell plays at about 200%. He does just so many little things,
Yeah.
but he's kind of struggling to shoot now. How do you keep a young guy motivated and confident despite the shots not going in?
Yeah, because how do we do it? We talk about, all right, there's a lot of different ways to impact winning, right? You don't have to just be a shooter, to impact winning. He was first to the floor, diving on the floor. He's guarding other teams' really good players. Like, he's rebounding, and goes after rebounds on offense and defense. And so there's a lot of different roles to be played on a team. And I get it. And sometimes, as a player, you want to do well, because he works just like Toby works. He's in there shooting every day, and as is Kwani. And it's just not his strength right now, right? It doesn't mean it won't be. part of coaching is helping guys grow over the course of their career to become better at certain things that they're not as good at, early on. But what can't ever leave is, right, the defense and the hustle and the intensity that you play with, and he brings all of those, to the table.
Congratulations on the win, Coach. Jason Nelson hits that three with 144 left. What was your thoughts on that play?
Yeah, big shot, Jay. Now that was my thought.
And also his contribution throughout this whole season thus far.
Yeah, he's been huge. Yeah, he's come up big for us. And today was a hard game for all of us. And Toby keeps that ball alive and runs it down, right, and then picks it up and has the presence of mind to look around and find the next guy. And J&L was that guy, and he wasn't afraid to knock it in. And that was a big shot. And in order to win in college basketball, you have to make some big shots. And he certainly was open, but there could be nerves with that too, right? It was a key moment. And I'm proud of Jason being ready. And again, he's another guy that's been in the gym recently, working on his game, to make sure that he's ready for a moment like that.
What are you guys telling Rose to try and get him going, and what did you see on the flagrant?
He was pretty good early, and then all of a sudden that was kind of right when they started going in, and he got caught a couple of times, overreacted, to the guys. He was a little bit too close to him, is what I mean. And all of a sudden he spun off him, and got around him. He's got to get lower. He's got to get lower when that guy catches it in the post, and not let him catch it in the post is easy. And but Rose will be fine. I haven't seen the play yet. I'm disappointed that he was ejected from the game. Certainly not something that he's proud of, and we haven't talked about it yet. But obviously they ejected him for a reason, so I'm pretty sure what I'm going to see is spot on. And we don't want to be that program, right? We're not taking cheap shots at people, but at the same time I got to stand up for my players. I'm not sure what happened. I'll have to wait until I see the actual play, but they were pretty confident that it was a connection, and so he's something that he's got to learn from. He's not a mean-hearted guy, so I do know that.
Firm stepped up in response, right? 30 minutes, team high, 9 over on the plus minus. What'd you see from him and his continued growth?
Yeah, Firm was solid today, and I thought he battled those guys. He had two guys kind of coming at him, 33 and 25. Both are big. They're big players and are good around the rim. Played a lot of basketball, and so he's playing against some experienced post guys. And I thought he did a nice job. He's got to block out a little bit better. He didn't do that as well in this particular game, and he knows that. In terms of coming up with some key boards or keeping his guy from getting it, but Firm had an excellent game, and we need him to. We're not very deep right now.
Tyson had a lot of points early on, and then you guys kind of shut him down in the stretch. What do you think of that?
I thought Zeb did a nice job after starting out. It's hard when you're guarding guys like that they run plays for. They're just literally running off screens, firing it, and you're kind of at their mercy. And it's a different coverage than we've had this year. We haven't played a guy that's necessarily like that this year. That's got that kind of size and shooting ability, and willingness to let it go. And that's where a lot of those rebounds happen, because he's letting shots go over two guys sometimes, and then it frees everybody else to go in there and rebound. But I thought Zeb and others, because it was others, as well that got matched up with him, over the course of the game. I thought they did a great job of staying as attentive as we could, throughout. We fouled him one time. He was 2 for 4 in that first half. So that tells you, he didn't get as many off, in that particular half, which was good.
Can do 1 or 2 more?
I'll get one. Coach, you were a hooper in the 80s and 90s. Did you ever have a haircut similar to Kobe Williamson's? And also the mullet kind of.
The mullet. I'm trying to think if I had the mullet. No, I didn't have the mullet back in the day. I had the little fade, that fade deal. Yeah.
And who on this team could pull that look off the best?
Sean. And he goes the other way now. He tries to go the other way. But Sean could definitely pull that off. Maybe Firm. I don't know.
Could be a Orlando surprise, show up like that.
Yeah, you never know. Never know.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys.